Good morning. I'm so excited to be part of Rutgers Elementary School. My name is Lori Schulman, and I'm the new assistant principal in charge of curriculum. I know that everybody is coming off of summer break, so I thought it would be fun to start an activity called Stand Up, Sit Down. So, for instance, I'm going to say, you went to the Jersey Shore this summer, and if you did, you'll stand up, and then I might throw you the ball, and you can share a little anecdote about that. I want to share a little bit about myself. Personally, I live in Hoboken with my husband David and my 2-year-old daughter Jenna, and we went to Long Beach Island this summer along with other fun places like Sesame Place and the pool at Grandpa's place. And I just want to start this PowerPoint presentation so that you can also get to know a little bit about myself and my vision for the school year. Professionally, I got my undergraduate degree in Inclusive Elementary and Special Education from Syracuse University, and I started my teaching career at the age of 22, teaching 3rd grade in Irvington, moved on to Highland Park for 5 years, a very diverse community, taught 2nd grade in Berkeley Heights. In the meantime, I did get my master's degree as a reading specialist and recently earned my supervisory certificate from Rutgers. Most recently, I was a literacy coach where I conducted informal observations to guide instruction, modeled lesson plans, provided professional development workshops, met with teachers to plan lesson and unit plans, and I also helped to revise curriculum to align with the core curriculum standards. I want to discuss my vision for the 2012-2013 school year. Teachers should have a shared belief and goal that we can make a positive impact, and we call that the culture of collective efficacy. And with that comes a culture of trust that we can learn together to raise student achievement. Together, that makes academic optimism, because at the end of the day, we want our students to learn to strive to be lifelong learners. And we're going to model that behavior with our own practices this school year and beyond. Now, I know that the district has adopted Danielson's framework for teaching, and I want to spend the school year delving into those components and using common language describing classroom scenarios of what those components look like and making connections to our own practices. We're also going to work as grade level teams to diary map so we could make sure that we're aligning to the core curriculum standards. I also know that you have started the reading and writing workshop model, and I would like to follow through with that initiative. And as always, we're going to monitor student progress. So let's talk about faculty meetings. They're roughly going to be every Monday from 3 to 4 o'clock. And what we're going to do there is celebrate successes, student success, teacher success, either personally or academically. We're going to discuss upcoming events such as conferences, back to school night, benchmark assessments. We're, like I said before, going to examine Danielson's framework for teaching and focus on professional development. This may include teacher presentations, status updates, committee meetings if we choose to do study groups of that nature. Grade level meetings will be held every other Friday. You have an extra prep on Friday. And this is when we will really get into the standards and do some diary mapping. We're going to discuss our lessons, our diaries about every 2 months to assess where we are. We're going to find gaps in the curriculum or possible redundancies, and then we're going to evaluate to see where we need to go. Grade levels should also work collaboratively. That means that we should take turns creating unit plans, and of course I would love to share some of my ideas and resources with you as you lesson plan. We will also be using grade level meetings to discuss assessments and to analyze that data and decide where to go, either as a team or maybe in your class. Maybe you want to start doing some flexible grouping, or you might want to use this time to discuss individual students and where to go from there in terms of certain interventions. I encourage you to share your student work and take this time to work collaboratively and ask your team members for help and guidance. I know that the school has been revising their performance evaluations, and I want to talk about the 2 goals of performance evaluations, and that's to ensure teacher quality and to promote professional development. When we're ensuring teacher quality, we're identifying your strengths and the areas of growth, and professional development means we want to improve on our teaching And of course, we're always looking to improve, not just to fix the bad, but we know that as teachers, we can always do more. And we decide on the professional development collaboratively. But together, we make sure, as we always do, that we reflect on our practice and we self-assess. Like I said before, we're going to focus our faculty meetings on taking a look at the components of the framework for teaching, and we're going to take a look at examples of what these components look like. And I gave you an example of one of those components that Daniel outlined and what it looks like from an unsatisfactory model up to a distinguished model. We will work together to describe not only what the instruction in the classroom looks like, but the level of performance that we would expect from our students as well. We will also spend our grade level time to focus on what we agree upon will be our professional development, a little professional development goal. So this may be to increase parent-teacher communication, integrate technology, or increase our math skills, our math facts. And you'll collect artifacts and share them during your grade level meetings, and that'll give us a chance to also reflect on our teaching in that way. I want to get to know everybody in the school, from students to teachers to support staff. And when I walk in, or when our colleague walks in to your classroom, it's really with the idea of getting involved in the activity and getting to know your classroom. I don't want to judge. I just want to be part of your class. I'll usually leave little love notes after staying 5 to 10 minutes. And I also know that we're working on our literacy block. So I gave you a sheet that will help you organize your balanced literacy block in your classroom, and I'm more than happy to help you along, I'm sure, with the instructional coaches. And I have the same sheet that I will be referring to, and the coaches have the same sheet as well that we will use to help guide you along. Of course, we also have those formal observations, and we're going to change the way we go about them just a little bit. You're going to lead those pre-observation conferences, and you're going to tell me about the conference, tell me about the lesson rather, give me context, and let me know what you want to focus in on. Take these observations as an opportunity to try something new. Take a chance, because I'm here to help you with your teaching. And what I'm going to do during those observations is I'm going to take notes, and then I'm actually going to share them with you. And we will both have time to examine those notes and cross-reference them with the evaluative criteria. During those post-observation conferences, you will have a chance to reflect and once again provide context. And instead of me just giving you a handwritten note of my notes and goals for that lesson, we're actually going to mutually decide on those strengths and goals. We're also going to have teachers as leaders. We're going to have a grade level team leader and a specialist team leader, and those will be the people that facilitate those curriculum projects during those grade level meetings. And during professional development, they might facilitate study groups. They will also be in and out of your classroom and be available for modeling and coaching. It might be connected with your professional development, or if you request help with anything, they're there for you. They're here to help us and to help us fine-tune our craft, not to judge and not to be intimidating. Another measure of teacher performance is student performance. Of course, we want our children to also succeed emotionally, socially, and academically. Let's give the analogy of a baby's weight scale. So, for instance, doctors want to see that if a baby is born in the, let's say, 10th percentile, that they don't jump to the 90th percentile, but rather throughout the developmental years continue at the same rate. So, for instance, my child has been in the 95th percentile. She has been for the first 2 years of her life, and it was, progressing at the same consistent rate. We want to look at that when we look at student progress. So we're going to give our informal RAP tests 3 times a year with a miscue analysis. We are also going to ask you to do running records 1 to 3 times a month as you seem that it is necessary. Whether you think that you need to collect data on a child who is a possible INRS candidate. We're going to have the reading specialist continue to conduct the DIBELS assessments 3 times a year. The phonemic awareness and informal phonics survey, I will be meeting with those grade levels to explain that to you. You are also familiar with the Words Their Way developmental spelling inventory. We will also be assessing sight words for reading sight words and writing sight words, and we're going to examine different types of assessment formats for that. Our math benchmark assessments are already in place, and the writing portfolio will consist of the whole entire writing process of 4 completed pieces of writing. Let's think about professional development as the gradual release of responsibility continuum. This begins with modeling and demonstration to give a visual picture of high-quality instruction. We may choose to assign lab classrooms or study groups. And then next, the teachers practice with colleagues and with coaches and conduct peer observations. Or they can meet in teams to discuss implementation, examine student work, and determine next steps. Finally, the teachers can independently integrate new approaches in their teaching. I want to think of our learning community like we would think of our classroom community. And in our classroom community, we want a collaborative environment. We want leadership opportunities for all. And this, anywhere from a novice to a veteran teacher, everybody has something to share. Just like we want our children to have choice in the classroom, we want to have choice related to our professional development. Just like we provide feedback to our children, we're going to provide constant constructive feedback to each other. We're going to have access to resources, and just like we provide our children with clear goals and objectives, we will do the same as well for each other. Once again, the model of professional development, like I said before, could be study groups through professional literature, or if you just want to form a group want to learn how to teach poetry, and you could meet as grade levels if you choose. We will have lab classrooms, as I've mentioned. And instructional coaching and guided practice really go hand in hand because coaches can model lessons either before or after observing your class. I would also be available to conduct demonstration lessons, so don't be scared to ask. During grade level meetings, we will be examining student work, and we're going to be finding patterns to see what our instructional next steps would be. For example, after studying writing, you might decide to teach introductions or transition words, something like that. Now, our educational support staff is a valued part of our community. I want them to be viewed as part of our classroom and not necessarily only as that one-on-one aid, because we don't want to stigmatize anybody. We don't want to stigmatize the support staff, nor do we want to stigmatize our child. And we want our support staff to participate in classroom activities. So no one's going to be out of the class making copies or in the classroom grading. They are an integral part of our classroom. And of course, they're going to support our IEP objectives and goals and follow through on those behavior plans, which happens to be a lifesaver for teachers in the classroom. And we value any ideas, observations, and inputs that the support staff has. So we definitely encourage support staff to collaborate with teachers and staff and to provide input. It's always good to have a second set of eyes in the classroom. So I just want to close with a picture of 2 eager girls arriving at school in the school bus, and we just want to keep in mind that our children come to school with a variety of different emotions, whether it's excited, nervous, worried, and it is our job to provide that positive learning community so we could have happy, motivated, and ambitious young children in our classrooms. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you this school year. Thank you.